The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
People get ready for the train to come. You don't need no baggage, you just need on board. You need a faith to hear the diesels humming.
Hello, everybody out there listening to ARM Radio tonight. Thank you for tuning into my show, All Aboard. My name is Donald Whisman. I'm sitting here tonight. Actually, we're doing something a little bit different tonight, guys. Everybody out there listening, me and Dave Coots and Les Skymo is actually sitting together tonight. We're actually going live on Facebook. We're streaming live. First time we ever did that. Go ahead and introduce Les and Dave. Les, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? A little hoarse, but we'll get through it.
Hey guys, how you doing?
That was Dave Coots, you guys, and like always, you guys, when I start my show, I always want to pray. I always want to send my prayers out to the men and women serving in our military, because you guys just think, if it wasn't for those men and women that have served in our military, past and present, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight talking like this, you guys. I mean, we would be in some dictatorship world if it wasn't for our military. And I want everybody out there that's listening to know that this show's not about Dave Coots. It's not about Les Skymo. It's not about me, you guys. It's about our country and the things that are going on in our country. And I love this country, and I'm sure that both these men sitting here next to me love this country. I know they do. And,
Absolutely.
Hey, man, yeah. One more thing, too. It just crossed my mind the other day. We had a lot of allies over the years that has fought with us and died with us. And I want to thank the soldiers of these foreign countries that's fought side by side with us and died with us in all of our wars. We've had Canadians, Australians, the French. You know, so I just want to thank them for their service to our servicemen, and a great service to us.
Well, thanks, Les. I appreciate that, and we do. We love our soldiers. We love all of our military guys. But you guys, tonight, we will be taking calls tonight. So if anybody wants to call in tonight, get your pen ready. The number is 1-800-508-5431. And I just want to remind everybody that I do have a Facebook group called Trump 2020 ! But don't forget that exclamation point, because that's what makes us special. And anyway, you guys, this is something that, since we're going to be talking about guns tonight and ways to stop all these school shootings, there was a saying George Washington said one time, and I quote, this is from George Washington, and it says, "A free people ought not be armed and disciplined, not only be," wait a minute, let me start over, I screwed it up, sorry guys. A free people ought not only be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. And that ain't that the truth? I mean, that's what the whole thing was with our Second Amendment, was to keep us safe from a tyrannical government, including our own, you guys. Now, let's get this show started right here. Let's get it started right now. And usually Les goes first, then Dave. But anyway, we all know what happened last week with the Florida school shooting. But tonight, I don't want to talk about the shootings tonight, you guys. What I want to talk about is ways we can prevent these school shootings from ever happening again in this great country of ours. Prevention, you guys. Come on, let's talk about that. How can we stop this from ever happening again in our country?
Well, you know, Donald, I don't know if there's any surefire way to completely cut it out, but there is steps we can take to minimize it. Now, this boy that did that shooting was mentally ill, was in a mental institution. That's not in our background checks. Okay, HIPAA law prevents that. Now, personally, I think these records need to be open to these background checks so the mental capacity of these people can be recorded. However, mental illness needs to be, Dave, that's a slippery slope, and it has to be narrowly defined to keep from getting innocent people caught up in that, because there's so many things you can throw in there that has really nothing to do with mental illness.
Absolutely, Les. I mean, if you think about it, and you remember, our government always goes to the extreme with everything. But what happens if you lose a loved one? You start grieving. You go to see a counselor. The next thing you know, you're on a list somewhere. They're denying you your constitutional Second Amendment rights to have a firearm because you're in a grieving process. It's happened already with the VA. The VA has took veterans that were probably perfectly capable of owning firearms and said because they couldn't balance their checkbook for 3 or 4 months in a row that they were indigent. That to me, that doesn't make you indigent. That doesn't make you mentally ill. So they're taking people's gun rights away without due process. And there has to be a balance in there where we have the right to keep our firearms with the right to keep people safe. And if you guys, what I want you guys to do is, if you look up here in front of us right now, we have an AR-15 that's Betty. I personally built this AR-15. Her name is Betty. And I want you guys to watch this AR-15, the whole show, to make sure that she don't jump up and shoot nobody while we're doing this show. Okay? You guys keep a close eye on her to make sure that Betty doesn't do nothing evil while we're doing this show.
Well, there's a few things I want to say, you guys. It just dawned on me, and Dave, we was talking about this a few days ago, that putting metal detectors in front of the schools on maybe a couple of entrances, and having like ex-veterans or ex-police officers be in the school, But like Dave says, I don't think that would be enough to have just a few veterans in the schools or a few police officers in the school and checking these kids as they're coming in. And like Dave said the other day, that the teachers need to get involved. A lot of the teachers need to be packing these guns, and I do believe in the state of Ohio, I checked it, it is up to the school board. It's not up to the state, it's not up to the federal government, it's up to the school board, you guys. So in conjunction, I'm sure Dave's got something to say about that, these teachers, if they would just, they make a plan, and I'm gonna let Dave talk about that, but it just dawned on me, you guys. Like Dave and Les was saying, we protect our banks. We've protected sporting events. We protect our judges with these metal detectors and stuff. And it dawned on me that the thing we're protecting in our country, think about it, you guys. We got all the rapists. We've got all these people who committed murder. We've got people, pedophiles, and they're all in prison. And what are we doing? We're guarding these people, and they're actually more safe than our children. And I'm getting sick of it, you guys. I'm getting pissed is what I'm doing. I'm getting really mad.
Turn your mics on.
Les, you're muted, buddy. Sorry, you guys. We're trying to mute these mics.
Yeah. We tried a new thing here and got a few bugs in it. But see, Dave's going to be teaching these teachers want to voluntarily come in and go to schools and carry firearms. But now you got all these exits at these schools. We really need more than one guard per exit. But you don't want uniformed cops there. You don't want people to know who's armed, who's not. that makes them targets. Okay, you just want the teachers, administrators, principals, and carry your day on just like any other day, except they're armed and they're willing to use these firearms.
Absolutely, Les. And if you think about it, everybody's talking about, there's always put a vet or two vets in a school, and that's a great idea, guys. That's an excellent idea. But if you think about the square footage of a building, 2-3 people can't cover that building, okay? But if you get these teachers that are willing to do it, that are willing to get armed and are willing to take the extra training, you can strategically put these teachers in classrooms through that school. Exactly. So you have situations to where they can cover hallways. They can help the armed guards that are there, and they're going to be carrying concealed, guys. There's a lot of arguments. Oh, you're putting more guns in the school. What if a kid comes up and gets it? This teacher is not going to be advertising saying, "Look at me, I'm carrying a gun today, guys. I have carried guns for years, and I'm telling you right now, you carry concealed, and if you do it the right way, you cannot tell if I have a gun on me or not." And those teachers will be trained the same way.
Well, Dave, I absolutely agree with you on all that stuff, but here we go, Dave. We got all these liberals in the country. I mean, as soon as we get any type of school shooting or anything like that, here we go. We're going to start screaming about gun control. Let's take the guns away. Let's put stricter gun controls. That's what we want to talk about tonight a lot. Is this gun control? It's insane, you guys. I mean, listen. That Second Amendment was put there for a reason, like I said earlier, not to only protect us from our own government, but it was put there to protect us from foreign governments. I'll guarantee you what, Dave, Les, if something was to break out in this country right now, I guarantee you these people would go out there dying to buy a gun. Then what are they going to do? What are they going to do then?
Well, I tell you what, here's a perfect example on this little card right here. And this is 2017 statistics from Chicago, Illinois. All right, this is the gun control capital of the United States. 2017, 3,500 plus gunshot victims, over 600 homicides. Now, by April, January, February, March, April, in 4 months in Chicago, there was 1,008 people shot in 4 months in Chicago. Now, I always preach, you got to stick with the truth. These are FBI statistics, okay, but they're grounded in the facts, and that's what we got to go with, the truth, based on fact. Dave, as well as I do, gun control's not the answer.
Oh, absolutely not. Here's the thing, Les, and it's a saying that I've said time and time again. And guys, I love this saying. Making good people helpless doesn't make a bad person harmless. Amen. Guys, in 2016, rifles, all rifles, including that evil AR-15 sitting here in front of us, this big evil killing machine right here, only killed 374 people in the United States in 2016. They accounted for 374 deaths. Knives accounted for 1,604. Guys, these are FBI statistics. We're not making these numbers up. Knives killed 4 times as many people as AR-15s and all other rifles combined, guys. Gun control isn't the answer. The statistics just doesn't fit their narrative. They're just trying to push it through mainstream media to get us to understand that if they keep pushing it, sooner or later they think that we're going to believe it.
I agree with everything you just said, Dave. I really do. And I'm standing up here because we're actually doing a video right now, you guys. This is the first time we did this, like I said, but I'm kind of ticked off tonight about a bunch of things. I mean, especially what you're saying there. Dave's right. There's been more people die of knives and hammers more than this. I mean, more than this. So why is it always this, you guys? And what was that? Oh, just any blunt objects or cars. I mean, you can take your car. If you're hell bent on killing people, you're going to find a way to do it. And the thing, we just had another shooting today here in Ohio, you guys. I think it was some kid in the middle school somewhere in Jackson, Ohio. I don't remember the name of the school, but the kid shot himself. I'm not sure if he's dead or not. But this figure they've got, like, what was it, 18 school shootings in this year so far. Those figures are not correct, Dave. Those 18, that number is not right, and people need to quit lying about this and get to the truth. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I don't care who goes next.
Well, I tell you what, Donald, from a liberal standpoint, anytime a gun goes off, it don't have to hit nothing. They'll grab onto that, and they'll throw that into somebody got shot, the suicides, they put that in the gun violence, everything they can rake up. Now, Dave, I ran this by you earlier, and some more evidence. This just happened in China in 2014, April. 10 people took knives and killed 29 people. And they wounded 130 people at a train station. 10 people did that. Look how many people they killed and maimed, okay, before they got them under control. If it had been one person there with a gun, somebody might have got stabbed, somebody may have got killed. There's no way that would have happened to that degree that it happened.
Oh, absolutely, Les, you're right. What people need to remember is evil lies in your heart. It doesn't lie in an inanimate object. That can lay there for centuries, and it's not going to do anything. It can either serve two purposes. It can serve good or it can serve evil, because the only thing that stops a bad man with a gun, guys, is a good man with a gun. What gets me is the media pounce on this when it fits into their narrative. If you think about it, last year we had a terrorist attack in New York. Okay? Did he use a gun? Absolutely not. He used a Home Depot truck. So what are we going to do? There wasn't no calls to ban Home Depot trucks. I mean, think about it, guys. In 2016, there was 30,000 deaths by gun. Okay, 30,000 out of 350 million people. That's not a lot. But 2/3 of those were due to suicide. 2/3 of the deaths in this country in 2016 were because of suicide. Okay, so if a person's going to kill themselves, guys, they're going to find a way.
I agree with that 100% again, Dave. As I'm not trying to be a yes man here and agree with everybody, everything everyone says. But the thing is about all this, and you said it takes a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. Here's my thing: the bad guys have been shooting long enough. They've been shooting long enough. It's time for the good guys to start shooting back. I don't know what that is. Where's that coming from? Well, anyway, it is. The bad guys have been shooting enough. It's time for the good guys to start shooting back. And another thing, you guys, I just found out today that Trump told Jeff Sessions to propose a rule banning devices that would turn legal weapons into machine guns. Now, Donald Trump, please, I back you 100%, buddy, but let's not go messing with that Second Amendment, buddy. Just let's please. And Les, if you don't mind, can Dave take this one, because he's the one that was telling me about what Trump told Sessions. Trump, I back you, buddy, but man, don't give in. Don't become Washington. Don't become like the rest of the people in Washington, buddy.
Absolutely, Donald. And here's the thing, guys. I think sometimes that I back our president 100%. But, I mean, I'm not a yes man, and I'm going to tell him what I feel about it. Guess what, Mr. Trump? That weapon right there has a flat trigger system on it, okay? It doesn't mean that it fires like a machine gun. You can enhance this weapon. It increases the rate of fire. It does not make it a machine gun. I as an individual can fill out a federal form and pay the federal government a $200 tax stamp and can have stuff that's on a restricted list. Okay? Remember, guys, making good people helpless doesn't make bad people harmless.
You know, Dave, I agree, but I'm going to cut him a little slack because you're dealing with City Boy. And I think he's surrounded with people that's going to school him on firearms and things. You know as well as I do, and his intentions are pure. I think he's just really green, and he don't know nothing about guns. But I really think that he's going to make the right decision on this. But if you want to do something, Mr. Trump, kick old Jeff Sessions in the hind end and get him on this uranium one stuff. Come on, let's see some action.
I agree, Les, but I just hope that he still remembers that, you know, Jeff Sessions doesn't dictate legislative law in this country. There's a process, guys. You just can't say, make this illegal because I want it to be illegal. He run on the Constitution. He run on draining the swamp. He run on making America great again. Well, Mr. Trump, part of making America great again is sticking to the Constitution of the United States.
Well, and Dave, you know, there are guys like me and Donald. We're going to hold his feet to the fire. Because we're all three constitutionalists, we're all three Second Amendment, and probably all three here NRA members. But you're right. You're absolutely right. My advice to him first would be to educate himself. Go out on the firing range. Get with them FBI agents, some of the good ones, some of the Justice Department guys. Go out and shoot some rounds. That'll help you get an idea of what you're talking about.
I just want to remind everybody that we are taking calls tonight, and I want to give you the number one more time. The number is 1-800-508-5431. So the thing is, if you don't agree with us, call in. If you've got something you want to say, call in. We're here. Let's utilize this. We've got a little over a half hour left. Let's utilize this time, Americans. Any patriots out there? I don't even care if Democrats call. Just utilize this number. We were very fortunate to get this radio show, and I'm willing to hear from other Americans living in our country. Call in. Let's hear from you. But I wanted to say something else, you guys. I was doing some research, and I found out that we don't hardly have any insane asylums left in this country, and it seems that to me nowadays, every time, and you guys may disagree with me, which is fine, but it seems like nowadays when a child is like maybe crazy or something, they just want to give them these Paxils and all these drugs, and they don't care if they're suicidal or murderers. They'll give them these brain drugs and send them out into public. And another thing, it's society, you guys. Society has changed. I mean, it's not Trump. All these millennials, these kids, these high school kids, what were they down there the other day protesting at the White House, blaming our president? President Trump didn't create this. He didn't create this PC society that we live in today. I'm sick of it. I am sick of all the Trump haters out there. They're the ones that are going to cause this country to fall. Like Abraham Lincoln says, if this country ever falls, it'll be from within. It won't be from another country, outside the U.S. It'll fall because these liberals have got this crazy. You couldn't take a drill and drill a hole in their nutty heads, their big thick heads, and leak that liberalism out of their heads. And I'm tired of it, you guys. We need and our children, you guys, today, there's no consequences. They can go out here and do anything they want. Most of the parents, they don't whip their kids anymore. The schools don't whip them anymore, and I'm tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. Something has to be done, and I don't care who talks next.
You don't care who whips them as long as they get whipped. Well, society has so many problems, and this has been going on for so long. This didn't happen in a vacuum. This has been going on for years and years. And, discipline, the family structure, the abortion issue, everything that's going on is desensitizing these kids from life being valuable, from consequences, and it's just a gimme society. There's so many things that play into this, and we got a long way to go to clean this up. And but it starts in the home. It starts bringing the family back together and discipline. Even adults have to discipline themselves. Dave, when me and you went in the military, when we went to boot camp, what if they would have said, well, you guys just do whatever you want to do as long as you show up for the war? How long you think you'd last? It'd have been pure chaos. And just like our society, so much chaos out there. We need structure. We need morals. We need something worth dying for. We need, all this stuff needs to be restored back to our society. But parents, take your belt, break your switch, take your hand, and smack the pea water out of that youngin' when they do wrong. And all three of us got whipped, and it didn't do, we've been pretty good people.
Absolutely. Les, I remember when my mom used to make me go pick my own switch.
Oh, yeah.
And if I went and picked one of them little bitty ones, she'd whip me with it and send me back to get a bigger one. I think the biggest problem is, though, guys, is we can't blame the kids for it anymore because it's our fault. You have to look at where we went wrong, where we failed them. I mean, for Christ's sake, we've got kids eating Tide Pods. It's ridiculous, guys. It really is. You've got a kid eating a Tide Pod that telling me there's 63 genders, and then they want to get out and talk to me about gun control. Gun control is using two hands when you shoot, guys. The society today has become so morally corrupt as a whole, as an entity. We've took God out of everything that we do. We kill how many babies every year? I mean, Jesus, we found out they were cutting them up and selling their body parts. It's ridiculous, guys. When we do that and we teach our children that they don't have to work for anything, that everybody gets a trophy. Guys, this is the real world. Everybody don't win a trophy. There's winners and there's losers. You have to get up every morning and you have to decide what you're going to do that day. Are you going to push yourself to do better, or are you just going to look in the mirror and say, I'm entitled to everything? Guys, I come from one of the poorest regions in eastern Appalachia, Kentucky. If I chose to stay there, would I have the things that I have today? Absolutely not. I chose to do better. You have to do that every day in your life.
I'm not trying to be a yes man, but I do agree with everything you just said, Dave. I really do, but I want to go back a little bit. I hate to go back on this subject again about putting metal detectors up, getting these teachers with guns in their hands, and getting our schools guarded. Now, Dave, the liberals, you know what they're going to do. They're going to complain about funding. Funding. We don't have the money for it. We don't have the money. But we do have money. We do have the money. First thing we need to do, we need to stop all foreign aid. America should come first. I believe America needs to come first. We need to start worrying about our own people, our own homeless people, our homeless veterans, our children. You guys, I'm going to tell you something. We have 100 senators in this country, U.S. senators. I'm talking U.S., federal, not state. We have 435 representatives in this country that we live in, okay? And each one of these senators, each one of these representatives, each one of these people has a staff up to 50 people a person. Now, why don't we cut that staff? They don't need that many people on their staff. I mean, this is just one little thing. I mean, I'm just a regular guy, but come on. This senator, what does he need? He needs maybe 1 or 2 secretaries, okay? The rest of the stuff, what does he do? He reads some legislation, he signs some papers. He don't need 50 people working for him, making over $100,000 a year. And there's many ways to cut money, and you guys can take it from there.
Well, Donald, I tell you, most of them aides are lawyers or they're law students, and they're making over $100,000. One senator or congressman may have 25, 30 aides, and not only that, you've got over 2 million, not including military, federal government employees. All right, and you can do away with the agencies, our federal government, these ABC agencies. Do away with the Fish and Game Department. We don't need that in our federal government. We got states doing that. Do away with your Bureau of Land Management. We don't need that. This property belongs to the states. There's no more territories. None of this property should belong to the federal government. That I could see it back before it was settled and it was territories. Sell these national parks. I'm a firm believer that all these national parks should be private property. There's more money than enough. Quit giving money to the Palestinians. Quit giving money to Iran. Quit giving money to everybody that hates America's guts. There's no shortage of money. Now, since this new tax law passed, the receipts to the federal government are going to skyrocket. We're going to take more money than we've ever seen, probably by the end of the fiscal year, because these tax cuts. Money is not the problem. It's the idiots that's running the country that's the problem.
Absolutely, Les. And the thing is, if you have Trump who's trying to find money to do this, then you're going to have every liberal in Washington, D.C. fighting him on every turn. Guys, we don't need to give money to countries that burn our flag. We don't need to give money to countries that just don't care about us. It doesn't matter what it costs. They find the money to do whatever they need to do when they need to do it. Why does a senator or a congressman need to get paid for the rest of their life when they're not in term anymore? Once they're elected, they're paid for the rest of their life. But you got veterans on the street. Take care of them first. Take care of our children first. Those are our most precious commodities, guys. Not somebody that's been elected for 30 years that might as well have a billboard on their coat with whoever stuck money in their pocket.
Once again, not trying to be a yes man, but I have to agree with that. And what you guys brought up Palestine a minute ago, but I wanted you guys to know that I don't know if you've seen this or read about this, but there was some senior official from Iran that said that Tel Aviv would be leveled to the ground if Israel attacks Iran, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will not escape. I mean, you guys, I just hope this official from Iran, I just hope he realizes that the United States backs Israel 100%. At least I do. How do you guys feel about Israel?
Turn your mic on.
There we go. Thank you, Dave. We better back Israel. Israel has been one of the truest allies we've ever had. Second to our army, they got the greatest military on the planet. Every man and woman in Israel serves 2 years mandatory in the military. You talk about patriotic people. They've got the most patriotic people on the face of the earth. And this little dude better watch what he's saying, because I tell you what, I double dog dare him to just give it a try, because that place will be a parking lot before daylight raises on it the next day.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing that they need to remember, guys, and Israel is an ally. Israel is more than an ally to the United States. That's our holy land. Period. That's our holy land. If you're a Christian, Israel is your holy land. And Benjamin Netanyahu plays no games with these guys. Guess what? You say you'll level Israel. Do you have a nuclear weapon yet? We know Israel does. Plain and simple.
Well, that's true, Dave. There's 9 countries that we know of that have nuclear power right now, and I don't know if Iran. They're pretty close, I think, to obtaining that nuclear power. Let's just hope that Iran doesn't become the 10th country to obtain nuclear power. But yeah, you're right. And talking about patriotism, I hate to change the subject, but I don't know if everybody out there, I'm sure a lot of Americans out there have seen this yellow flag that's got a little snake wrapped around it, and it says, "Don't tread on me." Well, I want to talk about that a little bit tonight, because I am a patriot. I love this country, and I just want everybody out there to know something that I learned here this week, Dave, something that you actually taught me, and I know Les knows all about it. It's that flag that has a snake on it that says "Don't tread on me." That's actually called the Gadsden flag, Gadsden, Gadsden, I believe it is. And we used this flag. It was actually the first American flag that we used, and when we had our 13 colonies, when we was fighting the Revolutionary War, that was the first American flag, was that Gadsden flag. And I think President Obama actually ordered that flag off of our ships, off of our naval ships. I don't understand that, Dave. I really don't understand that. Les, Dave, if you guys want to talk about that.
Well, I tell you, Donald, that flag means something. Okay, that's just like our American flag. These flags symbolize freedom. They symbolize we are a warrior nation. When we're attacked, under right leadership, we'll make a mess out of you. When we do it right, like we did in World War II, we annihilated our enemy. And, that's what really grieves my heart when I see somebody burn an American flag. That symbolizes something. Just like that Gadsden flag. Okay, that's sacred. And if I ever had a falling out with the Supreme Court, it's right there. My personal opinion, there will be laws against burning that flag. And that's my personal feeling. But that's sacred to me, Dave.
I agree. I mean, a lot of people don't understand what those flags mean to people, and I've said this before, guys. I can promise you, if you're in battle or if you're training for battle and you're serving this country, when you don't think you can go on any further, and you look up and you see that flag, or you see that "Don't tread on me," that touches your heart. It means something to a warrior. It means that we are a warrior nation. We're not going to take crap from nobody. If you mess with us, we are the best in the world, and we will flatten you. And guys, part of that, like Les was saying, when the Supreme Court ruled that that's protected free speech, that hurt us, because us being constitutionalists, we believe with all of our heart that those flags are sacred. But when you see somebody stepping on it or spitting on it or burning it, the first thing that we want to do is we want to go over and stomp them in the ground. But being constitutionalists, we have to realize that we have to respect everybody's rights equally, and that's the hard part. That's the part that really gets down and it really touches us.
And once again, I have to agree with you, but and everybody's down on Trump. I mean, it's always Trump's fault, Trump's fault, Trump's fault, Trump's fault. And another thing I want to let you guys know that Trump, our good president, our 45th president of the United States, is trying to do is he's trying to get rid of all these illegal aliens in our country, and especially the bad hombres like these MS-13 people. I'm gonna tell you guys, there was this 15-year-old, she was 15-year-old girl. She was beaten by a whole bunch of these MS-13 hombres that I call them hombres. These bad hombres, MS-13, and that's something that Donald Trump's trying to get rid of out of our country. It's people like that, you guys, and everybody wants to down Trump. Oh, Trump this, Trump that. Why is it? Why is everybody always down on our president? I'm tired of it, Les. If you want to talk about it, go ahead. This MS-13, it's got to go, bro. It's got to go.
Well, that MS-13 come out of El Salvador, and they recruit the youngest that they can, and they're brutal. They're vicious. They have no conscience. That's like address. What do they call that? President Trump had him up there it's not the inaugural State of the Nation speech. State of the Union, there we go. He had two parents up there, angel parents, that their children was beat to death in New Jersey by MS-13 hoodlums. And let me just throw this out real quick, Dave. In 2017, now this is all illegals, 74% of all illegals in 2017, okay, they had criminal convictions. The DUIs in 2014 from illegals, 59,985 convictions. Drugs, possessing and selling of drugs, 57,438 in 2017, and it goes on and on and on. These people don't want to be Americans. They just want to come here, suck the resources out of this country, burn our American flags while they fly their Mexican flags, El Salvador flags. They don't want to assimilate. They want to keep their identity, but suck what our resources that us taxpayers work hard for. They don't want to be Americans. Throw them out of here.
No, they don't want to be Americans. They don't. And here's the thing: the libtards are more worried about votes than they are the security of this country. If a libtard was worried about this country and they cared about this country, they would know that. Like Les said, 74% have criminal records. But what do? They throw the little bitty baby on TV. Oh, look at the little DACA baby. Look at the little DACA baby. Well, guess what, guys? You shouldn't have been here in the first place. When they throw your ass back across the border wall, blame your parents. Don't blame us. It's not our fault. We didn't do it. Your mom and dad put you on their back, and they hunked you across the border. It doesn't, get out. If you don't love this country, plain and simple, get your butt out of here. We don't want you. We don't need you.
Well, I don't know. You guys both, Les, Dave, you guys have heard of Jimmy Kimmel, right? I think he's got, what is it, The Late Show, something like that.
He's not even worth listening to me, Donald.
Well, I agree with that, but listen, you guys, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel, but I read about it. He came out on his show after that Florida shooting, and I don't mean to be hashing back on that again, but he came out and he cries. I mean, he cries. And listen, you guys, the guy may be sincere. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks about. Listen, I don't know, Les. I don't know what he thinks in his head. But here's the thing he did. Here's what really made me mad. It wasn't the crying that made me mad, but he came out and he started bashing Trump and all the Republicans out there. And Oh, yeah, I got to do that. But he started bashing Trump and every other Republican, saying they are mentally ill for not changing these gun laws in the U.S., and we done got talking about that. But Jimmy Kimmel, come on, just shut your mouth. Keep your mouth shut. If you don't know what to say, just don't say nothing at all. I mean, shut up, Jimmy. I'm tired of hearing you. Another thing, you guys, I want to tell you guys out there while you're listening to me right now, I got a couple of friends, Jimmy Bell and Paul Daniels, and they do a show every Thursday night on Armed Radio, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Pop Talk. Now, you guys, they've got him a new co-host, and I just want to give them a plug and say listen to them on Thursday night because they've got him a new co-host, and I think it's going to get I think it's going to get interesting. What do you think, Dave?
Oh, I think it will. I think Bobo will do a good job on that show for him. But guys, here's the thing, and I took this one next over last because we are sitting here at Deadwood Guns and Ammo, guys, and this is a place that I hold near and dear to my heart. I'm a concealed carry instructor here for Deadwood, and it kills me when liberals talk about gun laws. Guys, there are so many gun laws on the books right now, and what they need to remember is criminals do not obey gun laws, okay, period. It doesn't matter what kind of gun law you put into legislation. If I want a gun, I'm going to find a gun. You can make a shotgun. It's been proven out of PVC, out of metal tubing, guys. The evil, once again, lies in the heart, not in an inanimate object. As everybody looks and sees, old Betty here, she ain't jumped up and shot nobody yet. But there's already common sense gun laws in place. 4473 forms. You've got senators saying, "Oh, you can buy a gun off the shelf like you can candy." It's ridiculous, guys. It's not true. Don't buy into that narrative. Don't listen to the libtards telling you that. There's common sense gun laws already in place. Enforce the ones that are here. Protect our kids. This won't happen.
I tell you what, Dave, the laws, all these laws do, takes the rights from honest, law-abiding citizens. That's all they do. And, there's too many laws. They say, people have studied this. They say the average person, when they get out of bed before the end of the day, they've committed 3 felonies. Now, it's another law is not the answer, boys. We've got too many laws on the books. They don't enforce the ones that's on there. So, you have to fight fire with fire. And that phrase comes from setting backfires to keep your property from being burned up. People set fires around their home to burn toward the forest fire, and it would stop the fire. So, that's my 2 cents.
Hey, I just want to remind everybody, we're getting down to the last 10 minutes of the show. I would have loved to have somebody call in tonight. I'll tell you the number one more time. It's 1-800-508-5431. But I was reading this article, you guys, about these un-American freaks, I'll call them, that vandalized this school in Hurricane, Utah Thursday morning. They sprayed the words ISIS on the school. They took the American flag down from the school, hung an ISIS flag up on the school, then shredded the American flag. Now, you guys was talking about this a minute ago. We do have flag codes in this country, but they're not enforced. I think they need to be enforced, and these little un-American freaks, I'll call them, they want to hang an ISIS flag in America, on an American school. Man, they've got to be caught, and they've got to be horsewhipped in my book, you guys. I mean, I'd horsewhip them. What do you guys think?
Where am I at when this stuff happens? Because I guarantee you, I'd snatch a knot in their hind end. And, they'd regret ever attempting to do that. Now, folks, I'm telling you, that rubs me the wrong way, Donald. And if I ever catch one of these little punks doing that, especially the ISIS flag, I get so mad just the sight of one of them, Dave, them murdering, what's. Nah, you better hope old Skymo ain't around if you ever try that crap.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Here's the thing. We talk about flag code and stuff, but then guess what, guys? When them little freaks, as Donald called them, when they're taking that American flag down and there ain't no eyes and ears watching them, and we walk up on them, you better believe they're going to get a tail kicking.
Yeah.
No, at no time should anybody in this country ever fly a flag over the American flag or equal to the American flag. Ever.
Absolutely. Don't even fly it equal. The American flag needs to go to the top of the pole every time you hang it. And come on, all this stuff about kneeling to the national anthem, it's got to come to a stop, you guys. But here's something I want to talk about tonight, because we've got like 8 minutes left. But I want to talk a little bit tonight about our family, you guys. In this country, and it's a shame, the family unit is breaking down in this country, and it's because of liberals, you guys. I'll blame it on liberals. The family unit in this country is breaking down, and once that family unit breaks down, Dave, Les, I think that's it for our country. We've got to get the family unit, at least the families, back together. Like Dave told me the other night, he drives a truck, but when he comes home and he has supper with his family, he makes everybody turn off the cell phones, and he has dinner with his family. And that's the way it should go back to being. Spend time with your family.
Donald, I tell you, in our prosperity here in America, it's been a blessing, and it's been a curse. Our prosperity has caused us to lose sight of the most valuable things in this country. That's God and family, and country. Whatever order you want to put them in, God should be first, of course. But we're so materialistic. Our technology, every kid has a cell phone. Every kid's got a video game. I tell you what, when I was growing up, every household I went into seemed to me like had a coffee table in the middle of the living room, a big family Bible. Now, folks, I wasn't born on a church pew, Dave. I've been on both sides of the fence. But I tell you what, if you will just acknowledge there's a God and just confess there's a God, that there's something bigger than you, and there's something more important than you, and that's morals, that's values, okay? And we got to get back to that. There's no doubt about it. The Bible said the nation that turns its back on God will be turned into hell. Just look around the world, okay, and look at the direction America is going. We need to turn back to God.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look back, guys, a lot of the communist manifestos and stuff, the breakdown of the family is the first process in that. And then if you look, then it's disarming the public. Okay, it's happening before our eyes, guys. What are we going to do about it? We can let the family go, and we're going to fall. We're going to fall. It's like Donald said earlier. Abraham Lincoln said, if this country ever falls, it'll fall from within.
Well, I'm glad we brought that up again, because there's something else that's changed in this country, you guys. I want everybody out there to know that I am a member of the United Sheepdogs of Ohio. It is a militia. Now, this is something I want to talk about tonight, you guys. For the last 10, 15 years, the word militia it's became a bad word, and it shouldn't be a bad word, you guys. I mean, if it wasn't for the militia, we wouldn't be a country today, because they did help George Washington and the Continental Army. And if the militia didn't come in, that's the people, you guys. The people are the militia. And I even looked up the meaning of militia. I wish that a lot of people in this country would look up the meaning of a militia, and they would know exactly what that means. And I can't actually find it here. Here it is, right here. Here is the meaning of militia. If you look up the true meaning of militia, it means a military force that is raised from the civil population to supplement a regular army in case of emergency. That means we can help the army, the police, or whatever. A lot of these people has made the militia, these white supremacists, these Hitler people, they've made militia, they've made it a bad name. They've made it a bad name. You guys want to talk about it? Go ahead.
Well, real quick, I'll tell you this, America. The militia is not the National Guard. It is not. I repeat, the militia is not the National Guard. It's the citizenry. It's exactly what the militia is. Dave?
Oh, absolutely, Les. And I mean, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, guys, because I mean, I am the commanding officer of the United Sheepdogs of Ohio, and the purpose of our group, of our militia, is to help the community, guys. That's what we're there for. We're there in case there's natural disasters. We're there if somebody needs a hand. That's what true militias do. I mean, we're a constitutional militia. We train and we uphold to the Constitution of the United States. That's what a militia should do. You build your community. You start with your community and you work out, guys. And if you do that, militia is not a bad word. We're not white supremacists. We believe in everybody's rights. We're constitutionalists.
Absolutely, we're constitutionalists, Dave. Constitutionalists. I can't even talk now. I've lost my blah, blah, blah. My mouth goes out sometimes, you guys. I talk so much. It's kind of funny, but I talk so much. I kind of get burn out on talking at nighttime. But I want to go back to these. I know you guys are real loud. I want to go back to these federal judges real quick. I think we got a couple minutes left. But these people, these federal judges, they're making too many decisions in our country. I'm sick of it. They wasn't elected. They were appointed. And I'm tired of them. Wait a minute now. You don't get into the private wrongful thing, are you? Where you want to get? I know Dave's wanting to go somewhere with this. But you guys, these federal judges are making too many decisions in our country. And I think we got about a minute to go. Anybody got any last words? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Judges, you're there to interpret the law, not make a law. And when you legislate from the bench, somebody will grab you by the nape of the neck and drag you out of there and put somebody else in there that's a full-blooded American that will adhere to the Constitution of the United States. I love you. God bless you. And I hope next time I have my voice back.
Absolutely, guys. The judges need to interpret the Constitution not by party lines, not by political views, but how the Constitution was meant to be interpreted, plain and simple. It doesn't matter who puts you in that office.
Well, what was it? What was it, Dave, that you said the other day about what Reagan said? What was it that Ronald Reagan said, Dave? I'm gonna let that go back to you because you made a statement the other day to me. You said something that Ronald Reagan said, and I really loved what you said. He said, "Let's end it on that note."
He said we must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty, rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his or her actions, guys. That was by one of the greatest presidents ever.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing we've been talking about tonight, is the individual being held accountable. Now that's really the main topic tonight, you guys. Like these school shooters, the individual should be held accountable, not this gun. We got our 20-second warning. That I want to tell everybody, thank you for joining All Aboard. This is something we tried new tonight. I'm sorry if everything didn't work out. Please tune in next week. All Aboard, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
All right, goodbye. God bless you. Donald Trump,